Hello once again, all my comic collecting friends out there in YouTube land. It's Matt, Comic Quarter 410. Here today, or tonight actually, just got back from day 2 of Baltimore Comic Con. Going back tomorrow, but I wanted to share some of the stuff that I got. I'm going to probably have to break it up into a couple videos, so hopefully I'll do another one tomorrow. But did mostly signatures and sketches, but I bought a few books, and this is one of them. I was very happy to get this. I've been looking for this, and it's not ultra expensive, and I've seen a few copies. I just never pulled the trigger on it. This is the Justice League number 3. This is from the mid-late 80s series by Giffen and Maguire. And to issue number 3 and an issue of Firestorm, I'm forgetting the issue number, they did very limited market distribution on the Superman test logo covers. And actually this number 3 cover with Shazam, Batman, and Rocket Red is different from the normal cover. And the big difference is they were testing, they were going to go with, they were considering changing their name from DC Comics to Superman Comics. And they obviously decided not to go with it. But these are a little more limited distribution. And the Firestorm one, my understanding, it's a little harder to find because it was a later issue. This is like number 3, and Justice League was definitely more popular than Firestorm. So Firestorm got a lower print run and lower distribution. And one guy had it, but he wanted $125 for it. And it's probably not even worth half that, or maybe about half that. And I said, you know, that's just way too much. Can you come down? He goes, no, this copy's near mint plus. It's like a 9.8. And I was like, well, you think it's a 9.8. I said, but, you know, that's a pet peeve of mine with dealers. If you want to tell me a book's 9.8 and it's raw, go away. You know, you're going to charge me near mint 9.2 value if it looks near mint. If you say it's 9.8 then and you want 9.8 CGC price, then you should have it slabbed to get that price. So I walked on that one, unfortunately, and I couldn't find another copy at the show. But I did find this. It's not perfect. It's got some flaws at the staple and some spine rolling. But this book normally goes for about $80, around there, 80 to 100 near mint. And I talked them down from $30 to $20, so I snatched this up, and I'm very happy to have it, finally. This, I was beyond stoked to get. This is Alan Moore's Light of Thy Countenance hardcover, and it's actually leather bound, so it's kind of baby soft. But I bought this off of James Kuhuric, who is, you know, he's one of my favorite writers on his Army of Darkness work. He's doing $6 Million Man right now also, but he's the editor of Avatar Comics. And Alan Moore, Garth Ennis, and Warren Ellis write stuff for Avatar. James Kuhuric's local to Baltimore, so I've met him a few times, and I just trust his word anyway because he's Avatar's editor. He's Alan Moore's boss on these books. So the reason I paid $60 for this hardcover is, if I can get it open, there it is. It's also signed by the artist Felipe Massafera, I think that's how you say it, but Alan Moore signed this book, and that is my first Alan Moore signed book, and I'm just so thrilled to have it. So, and I trust James Kuhuric that that's legit. There's no certificate, but I mean, he's Alan Moore's editor, so very cool guy too. This was one of the Baltimore Comic Con exclusives. This is their exclusive to Grendel versus Shadow, book 1. By Matt Wagner. I met him, and I already had put this back in my car, so I didn't get it signed, which was a big bummer. But I should have just went and bought another one. But the cool thing about this book is his son, Brennan Wagner, is now his colorist, and he was there with him. And let me just tell you, I hold Matt Wagner in high esteem, and I'm always nervous when I meet somebody that I'm a big fan of, especially after meeting Adam West and being let down. I'm always worried, like, God, please let this guy be cool, because if they're not, I don't want it to affect the way that I view their work that I've loved so much for so long. And let me tell you, Matt Wagner is one of the nicest people I've met. He was so cool, and I have some more stuff from him to show, but I'm going to show that tomorrow. This is another Baltimore Comic Con exclusive. This is the Dawn Vampirella #1 sketch cover by Joseph Michael Linsner. he was there too. Maybe if I can get to him tomorrow, I might try and get that signed. I'm a huge fan of the original Battlestar Galactica. I like the reboot from a few years back as well. And this is Battlestar Galactica 1880, steampunk book, excuse me. And this is the Baltimore Comic Con exclusive sketch cover. Kind of like the way they did the Cylon there. This is the Grayson Futures End one-shot that just came out, the 3D cover. And Tom King, who wrote this, was there, and there was no line, and he was selling these, so I walked right up, bought one for cover price, and he signed it. He was a very nice guy. As many of you know, I'm a huge fan of the Living Corpse team. I knew Buzz Hassan in high school. They're so cool to all their fans, but they really treat me well, and there's just a couple other people that are fans of theirs, and I see the same people every show because they treat their fans like friends. They really do. And Buzz makes me feel bad because he's always like, here, take this book, take this. Oh, we did this cover. Here, take. And he gives me all this free shit. But, you know, he's cool, and I always pay him to do sketches and stuff, and they take good care of me, and they're awesome guys. But this is the Stormwatch Comics variant they did for the Dynamite Twilight Zone series by J. Michael Straczynski, and all three of them signed that cover for me. And this is probably my favorite cover that Buzz did. And Buzz Hassan did the pencils and layouts, Ken Hazer inked it, and Blair Smith colored it. And I just love this cover. This is the Soulfire Stormwatch Comics exclusive variant, and it's limited to 700 copies, so it's pretty low print run. And they all signed that for me, too. I really love that. I love the dragon and the effect on the wings. Did a beautiful job on that one. This is one they did for Asylum Comics, 17 in Life Jailbait. It's a little kinky. They all three signed it. Of course, Buzz had to sign on the booby. And he told me that Asylum Comics actually contacted them. They want them to do a comic book adaptation of the Sharknado movie. So we'll see if the Corpse guys go ahead with that. Oops, that's upside down. Apologize. There's the other one. Here we have one of the sketch covers I asked those guys to do. And I asked them this time, I said, can all three of you work together on the cover for me? And they did them ahead of time. He said, unfortunately, he's like, I don't have any amazing Spider-Man blanks, but they did me a classic Spidey swinging through the city on the Superior Spider-Man #1 blank variant. And it's just beautiful. Ken Hazer did the layouts and pencils. Buzz inked it, and then Blair colored it. And whew, those guys take good care of me. They did an awesome job. Very happy with that. And this one is also upside down. Sorry, this one I asked for. They blew me away. They knocked it out of the park. I asked them for an X-Men team cover from the Claremont Byrne era. Let me see if I can open this carefully. Sorry. Okay. They said they didn't want to try. They were going to try and squeeze Storm in, but they thought they might not have enough room for her, so they just left her out, unfortunately. But I'm totally cool with that. They fit as many characters in as they can. And I love this. I love what they did. Again, Ken Hazer did pencils and layouts. Buzz Hassan inked it, and Blair Smith colored it. Really, I like how they stuck Beast in at the top. And, man, they knocked it out of the park for me. And I think I like Nightcrawler the best. He did a little BAMF effect around him. Really happy with how they did this. And they gave me a great deal on these. Because I know they put in a lot of work, and it's not convenient because they have to, you know, one does it. They don't live as close to each other as they used to, but they catch up, you know, once a week, and they had to kind of pass them around. So I definitely appreciate all the effort. Those guys are great. They take good care of all their fans. So please support their work. This is an Infinity sketch cover I got done by my friend Nathan Getz. I've known him for a long time. He's a great guy. He's trying to get his book published, and he did this pencil and ink wash cover of Black Bolt and Thanos for me. Very cool guy. Nate is the man. I had to buy this. This was at the Hero Initiative table. It was not cheap. I think I paid like $80 for this, or $100. But Will Portacio's not at the show, but they had this Captain America sketch cover that he did at their table, and I bought it. Like it a lot. Kind of sucks because it got bent up at the top corner, but whatever, I'm not selling this. I got Origin 2 blank cover And Herb Trimpe, creator of Wolverine, did this awesome sketch cover for me of the original Wolverine. I wanted the Wolverine from Hulk 180, 181, and 182, and he did that. And I just want to say thank you all for commenting on my video about that jerk who got Herb Trimpe to sign all those books. And I just want to say, I do agree that Herb could have spoke up and told the guy to go to the back of the line, but I think he felt bad because that's the only guy he charged money, but he should have. But I just want to tell you guys, Herb Trimpe is a very nice guy. He's been nice to me every time I met him, and I don't really blame him. I think it was more of a case of Herb didn't like what the guy was doing, but he's too polite to speak up. I really feel that's the case. So don't think negatively of Herb because of that experience. It's that parasitic dealer who's the problem, in my opinion. Greg Capullo was also at my show. CGC has my Batman #1. So, and even though it was on site, and I supposedly handed my books in for the deadline, they said, oh, we got too many submissions. We're not going to get yours done by Sunday. I feel like they gave the dealers priority, and I think that's just crap. And I even said, well, can you at least fast track my books for free? And they wouldn't even do that. So, kind of indifferent with how my experience with CGC went. So, if they keep this up, CBCS and Vision will be getting more of my business. So, but anyway, they have my Batman #1, and Capullo signed my #2 for me. And I screwed up. I got Spawn 18, and I think it was 19 or 21 signed. And I meant to give my 18 to CGC, and I gave the other one to them. I totally screwed up. So, I don't know, but Greg Capullo signed it right there, and he was very nice, too. Cool guy. His wife was nice. Barry Kitson was there. I always go see him. I'm a big fan, and he's really, really nice guy. Got some books signed from him. Hopefully, he's going to have a sketch done for me tomorrow. We'll see how that goes. But he signed my Avengers vs. Thunderbolts #1. My Avengers vs. Thunderbolts #2. The Incredible Hulks series. This is Hulk 614. He signed my Batman Punisher one-shot with the Azrael Batman. I'm a huge Punisher fan, as many of you know. Barry signed my Azrael #1. He's a really awesome guy if you ever get to meet him. Also got to meet Fred Hembeck, finally. So to my knowledge, if he's done Baltimore, it's been like 10 years ago. But it's my first time meeting him. And I got Fred Hembeck's Sells the Marvel Universe signed. And he signs really small, but he was super nice. And Tony, I just want to tell you, I had an extra Hembeck book. So I did get you a book signed by Fred Hembeck, buddy. So I'll get it out to you in the next week or two. I got Fred Hembeck Destroys the Marvel Universe signed. And his wife was with him too. They were very cool. Speaking of cool guys, the longest line I waited in all weekend was to meet Garth Ennis. And I had a good bit of books. And I was planning on getting like 4 or 5 signed, but he's like, oh, there's no limit. I had the rest in my hand. He's like, I'll sign the rest of those. And he didn't charge anything for a signature. He didn't have any limit. But he had a Hero Initiative donation jar on his table, and so I donated $20. But he signed a good bit of books for me. And Ira, also, I got your Preacher #1 signed. It's with CGC. Returning the favor. I really appreciate you getting my X-Men 142 and my Caliber Presents #1 graded for me at your show. I didn't expect that, so return the favor. Your Preacher is with CGC, buddy. So, but unfortunately, we're going to have to wait 2 months to get it back now. They screwed us, but whatever. Really like this mini-series. It's painted by current Rye artist Clayton Crane. He did the interiors too. Beautiful cover. Garth Ennis signed that for me. That is a great read. My Ghost Rider #1, 1 in 25 variant is also a CGC, as well as my Marvel Knights Punisher #1. Oh, my focus. There we go. They have my Marvel Knights Punisher #1. I'm a huge Punisher fan and a huge fan of this storyline here. It's the story that they adapted for the Thomas Jane movie. But he also signed my number 2. This is the retailer edition variant of Ghost Rider number 1. Garth signed that. Another beautiful Clayton Crane cover. Got Preacher number 7 signed by Garth Ennis. Preacher number 15. The Hellblazer Special number 1. Spider-Man the 1000, or Spider-Man's Tangled Web the 1000. Love this Glenn Fabry cover here. Garth signed that. And my Punisher Warzone number 1 by the Preacher team of Ennis and Dillon. And I told you I gave him a good bit of books. But, yeah, like I said, I had 4 or 5 in my hand and the rest in the other hand. He's like, I'll sign all of them. He was cool as hell. So I told him I hope that AMC kicks ass on the Preacher and that he makes millions and millions of dollars, and he laughed. So, but yeah, we had a nice talk about Punisher and Punisher fans. I know Ira's a big fan of Garth Ennis and Punisher. Garth Ennis just told me there is another Punisher. I don't know if it's a mini-series or what that he's doing, but it's going to be a story about Frank Castle in Vietnam. So we have that to look forward to, Punisher fans. But Garth also signed my Pro one-shot. And this is another book Garth Ennis did, Punisher Born. It doesn't say Punisher, but it is about Punisher, and it's about Frank in Vietnam, so I guess they're going to do another one. But I really like that series. And last but not least, he signed my Punisher The End, which is drawn by one of my favorite artists, Richard Corbin. So I had a pretty awesome time, and was really happy how everything turned out, and hoping to get everything that's left on my list done tomorrow. So I've got everybody. I told a few people I get books signed for them, and they sent me some books, and I got everything done except I still Full Killer Steve, buddy. I didn't get to Mark Waid. I'm gonna try and get to him tomorrow, but I did get your G.I. Joe signed by Herb Trimpe. So try and take care of that tomorrow. I really, I wish I was rich, because there's so many people I would have liked to get stuff for. I'd like to get a gift for everybody, but I just can't do it. But definitely appreciate each and every one of you guys and girls. So everyone, thank you for stopping by. I'd always appreciate your time. I'll be back hopefully tomorrow, the next day, with the rest of my convention haul. So everyone, take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and enjoy your comic books.